Everyone who thinks Donald Trump's decision to ask a federal judge to release transcripts of grand jury testimony on the Epstein business is a little fishy. Hold your hands up. Yeah, me too. First of all, it's Trump, Donald Trump, who's doing it, and that alone raises a red flag. Secondly, why didn't he do this in the first place before pissing off his MAGA base so much that they started calling him fat and ugly and old? Now it goes into the court system. You know what that's like. The grand jury process will necessitate a review, redaction, all of which takes lots of time, before finally the possible release of testimony. And after all that, they still won't have released the full Epstein files, which Trump says they don't exist. And besides that, Obama wrote them. I know both those things can't be true, Mr. President. If they don't exist, Obama couldn't have written them, right? Even Alex Jones thought, what the fuck? What are called the Epstein files are the records of anything that was learned by the FBI through exhaustive interviews and leads and pertinent evidence about Epstein's friends, parties, and alleged sex trafficking to his private island. We can assume it may have included interviews with Epstein himself and the little black book he allegedly kept naming names, lots of names, of his friends that he treated to a frolicking good time on that island. And if none of that's true, well, we would have found that out too, right? Of course, if Epstein had lived, he'd have had quite a story to tell. But unfortunately, he committed suicide while being held at the Manhattan Correctional Facility under, shall we say, highly suspicious circumstances. More on that at a later date. And while we're at it, how the hell did Epstein make his money anyway? I've heard lots of theories, but they mostly sounded like bullshit. I mean, he had one of the most expensive pieces of property in Manhattan, which is right up there with the most expensive real estate market in the world, and he owned a fucking island. Even most centibillionaires don't own islands. There's that word again, centibillionaires. Must be the 100th time I've used it this week. Anyway, what to watch here is whether this grand jury move will placate all those in his MAGA base who were so mad at him this week. That's what he's counting on, of course, but I'm not so sure. Meanwhile, we'll have to keep hoping that this swelling in his ankles won't spread to his brain. Wait a minute. Maybe it already has. I may be onto something.